The Chicago Bears have a matchup against the Minnesota Vikings, and on today's episode, we're going to talk about keys for the offense and defense in this game against the Minnesota Vikings to try to secure a win for the Chicago Bears. We're also going to dive into the mailbag as it is Friday. That means it is mailbag day. We're going to get to all that and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go and get into this content for today, y'all. I want to start off with the offense today. What are some of the keys for the Chicago Bears offense against this Minnesota Vikings team? The first thing that I want to talk about is third down efficiency. In the first meeting against the Minnesota Vikings, the Bears were 3-12 on third down attempts, but we have definitely improved in that as the season went on. We're among the league leaders actually now in third down conversion rate, picking up over 41% of our third down attempts. So that is going to be super important against the Minnesota Vikings defense. And the Vikings right now are fourth in the league with only 16 first down attempts allowed per game. So the Bears have to really be keyed in on converting on third downs against this Minnesota Vikings team. It's going to be hugely important that the Bears move the ball, keep the defense on the field, are able to go on long drives to kind of debilitate that defense a little bit. We got to stack up yardage. We got to pick up, the critical times, and we have to do that. With the Vikings and the way that they blitz, they're going to try to disrupt the Chicago Bears early on, and, that's how the Bears are going to need to. And I guess that's an unofficial key in this as well that I think goes hand in hand with the third down efficiency. Caleb Williams' ability to pick up the third down, pick up the blitz and identify that blitz and where to attack at in the blitz and make those decisive decisions are going to be really important, and drives not stalling as well for this team. They're going to be coming at Caleb Williams fast. They aren't going to relent on him at all. And so Caleb Williams' ability to get through and navigate through that blitz and navigate this offense through that is another key part in it. But you have to convert on third downs. The Bears cannot suffer from too many short runs on offense, because if they do, that's going to play into the hands of what the Minnesota Vikings like to do against teams. And then the momentum could be away from the Bears if they let that go on for too long. So that's something that definitely have to identify early. Next thing that can actually go on hand in hand with helping the third down efficiency rate is the run game. We have to continue to discover this dual-headed rushing attack for the Chicago Bears. In week one, Caleb Williams led the team with 58 yards, and DeAndre Swift was second with 53 yards. Now that we've had more balance between that we found this balance with DeAndre Swift and Kyler Monangai, you're still going to get Caleb Williams making plays with his legs. You're still going to get probably DJ Moore to get a couple carries and stuff in there. You're going to get those things. But to have a balanced rushing attack is going to be really important for the Bears. The Bears have moved in for one of the bottom teams as far as rushing attack to what I think number 3 right now. They are a rushing attack on the season. That just shows the importance of getting more wins, stacking that, making yourself a two-dimensional team. The Vikings' run defense is very average, right? They allow 117 rushing yards per game. You have to take advantage of that and move the ball on the ground against this Vikings team. If you do not, the Vikings are going to punch you in the face, and it's not going to be in your favor. It's going to be very difficult if you let them turn you into a one-dimensional team. The Bears cannot afford to be made one-dimensional against this Viking teams, not with the way that they blitz. You cannot afford that. So getting Kyler Monangai, getting DeAndre Swift, getting these guys in rhythm and doing more like what Ben Johnson did in Detroit. I'm not saying that we're at that level by any stretch of the imagination, but if we can, the more that we can get like that, the more positive this is going to look for the Chicago Bears as this game goes on. You have to be able to be a balanced attack. If not, the Vikings are going to jump on your head, and I just don't know if the Bears are going to be able to withstand that if they do not find success on the ground against this Vikings team. You have to lock in, and if you don't, it is going to be ugly for you, right? So looking at that now, DeAndre Swift has 544 yards on the season. Kyler Monangai's 10 yards below 400 yards himself, and he's averaging 5.2 yards per carry. Get these guys involved in this rushing attack and get it done early. That's going to put the Minnesota Vikings on its heels and not allow it to make you a one-dimensional team, which then makes everything else so much easier for you. Next up, continue to reduce the penalty. Keep those penalties underway. This has been something that's been such a problem for the Bears at the large part of the season. We had our best game as far as limiting penalties against the Giants. Now, can you pick up on that and make that part of your game plan as well this year, right? We'll see if we can. If you look at the first meeting against the Vikings, the Bears were flagged 12 times for 127 yards against the Vikings. You have to limit that. It stopped the momentum way too often for the Chicago Bears offense when they did that, and it hurt them from putting up potential points. That's what losing drives out do to you, and that's what losing penalties, the self-inflicted wounds, have to stop for this Bears team. So when you look at it, picking up third downs, limiting penalties, running the ball, these are things that can help the Bears have success against the Vikings. I'm not saying it guarantees a win, but I don't think you can have success if you do not do those things consistently and often against this Vikings team. That's your pathway to success. The Bears got to do it. They got to lock in. Like I said, Caleb Williams is going to be a big part of that as well with how he deals with the blitz, because he has to be that calming factor for this team when it comes down to the blitz and how this offense can move the ball consistently. Caleb Williams has to be that guy today for them. And if he's not, not today, on Sunday for them. And if he's not, it could be a long, long day for the Chicago Bears offense. So that's my thought process. You guys can let me know what are some of the keys for you guys for this Bears offense against the Minnesota Vikings defense. But let's switch to the defense. And I think the first thing the Bears have to do is contain JJ McCarthy, both in the ground and in the air. JJ McCarthy is a quarterback that can make plays with his legs. I won't say that he has the most amazing, legs in the game of football to where he can make these dynamic plays, but in only 4 games played, JJ McCarthy has 2 rushing touchdowns and over 100 yards. Like, this is a guy that absolutely will, if things break down, he will make plays with his legs, and you cannot overlook that aspect of the game for him. The Bears have not fared the best against mobile quarterbacks so far this season, so their ability to take care of that and disrupt JJ McCarthy, who's averaging 5.2 yards per carry, 110 yards on the season, 2 touchdowns. Again, this is a guy that in 4 games, he's shown he can make plays with his legs, and that's where the Bears have to disrupt him at. But also, even outside of that, the Vikings have allowed 34 sacks on the season. 34 sacks on the season. I'm not saying the Bears have the most amazing pass rush, but you got to take advantage of that. You have to. JJ McCarthy has been sacked 15 times. Carson Wentz was sacked 19 times when he was in there with for the Minnesota Vikings. You got to take care of business today. If you don't get that business done in disrupting JJ McCarthy, it's going to be a long day for you. And you make the game easier on yourself by disrupting him and taking him away from making plays with his legs. And like I said, you bruise him up even in the pass game with getting sacks on him early and often. I think that can go a long way in this defense getting things together. And like what goes hand in hand with that, if you get to the quarterback, you disrupt him from making plays with his legs. This is a Viking team that is 29th in the NFL in turnover margin. They're -7 in turnover margin. The Chicago Bears are number 1 there, right? And takeaways have been a weapon for this Bears team for the entirety of the season. They have to continue that. This is a Vikings team that will turn the ball over, which will keep them from finding momentum on offense and keep them from putting up points on the board. The Bears have to use those takeaways to get themselves in rhythm and keep the Vikings from being in rhythm on the offensive side of the ball. If this is a Bears team that gets those takeaways as well as disrupts JJ McCarthy, those things go hand in hand with the Bears defense doing a lot of keeping that offense off the field, getting your offense better field position, all those things that we know that just go hand in hand with football. If the Bears can do those 2 things, it goes a long way. Force those takeaways. Lastly, get them off the field. The Bears have to aim for a third down conversion rate of 25% or less ideally. I'd be happy with 30%, but if you can get it to 25% or less for this game, that's going to go a huge way. And not only getting them off the field, but stopping their rhythm and momentum. You got to stop them from converting on third downs. The Bears have given up some big plays on third down situations at times over the course of the season. You have to disrupt this. This is a Vikings team that's ranked towards the bottom of the league in both passing offense and rushing offense. And so because of that, this Bears defense, while they haven't ranked the best themselves on the defensive side of the ball, it gives them an avenue to disrupt this team. And that's sometimes all you need to do to throw a team off and give your team the advantage to be able to win. So the Bears defense has to be locked in. Contain JJ McCarthy. Force takeaways. Get them off the field in third downs. If you do those things, the Bears can absolutely win this game. I'm not saying it guarantees a win. I'm not saying any of that. But it puts you in a better position and situation to win this game. And that's what this all becomes about, is doing the things that you need to do to win this game against the Minnesota Vikings. Because listen, this, despite what their record will tell you, this is a NFC North opponent. The Bears are 0-2 right now in the NFC North, despite being tied for first in the division. You got to, The NFC North teams are sticking around, and the Bears have allowed teams to stick around in games where they shouldn't have. Games that shouldn't have been close via the talent level, they've allowed to stay. This is a Vikings team that I'm telling you, don't look at the record. Don't let that overtake you. Don't let any of that. Don't let the number of yards. You got to get stops early. You got to get them out early on early downs as well. You got to get those takeaways. If the Bears can take care of business on both sides of the ball, this is a winnable game for the Chicago Bears. It is. And the Bears are legitimately in a playoff push right now. You don't want to overlook any of this. You don't want to make things harder on yourself. You don't want to have self-inflicted wounds. If the Bears can get this win on Sunday against the Minnesota Vikings, that just puts gives them another more opportunity to actually make a postseason. You got to get to double-digit wins, some shape, form, or fashion. They sit at 6 right now. The Bears can come out of this week 7-3, going into week 12 and a part of a difficult schedule. I'm telling you what, right now, I'm not saying you're not willing to bet on the Bears making the playoffs, but it would mean that they're putting themselves in a position to give themselves the best chance to make the playoffs. And that's all you can really ask for in this team. So Bears need to go out there and take care of business on both sides of the ball. We're getting players back healthy. We're going to get, Grady Jarrett was a full participant in practice. Attack on both sides of the ball. The Bears do that, we got a good chance of winning this game. But with that said, it is Friday. That means it is mailbag day. We're going to dive into the mailbag. We got 4 voicemails to get into. This one's from Darius.
What's going on, guys? Darius from Dallas, man. I just had a quick question, man, because something dawned on me. I don't understand why Noshawn Wright gets so much hate and Tyrique Stevenson gets so much love. I don't understand that. Because, and you can say, well, Noshawn Wright gives up a lot of big plays down the field. Yeah, well, Tyrique Stevenson does too. And we can roll the tape back to look at that. Not even just from this year, but from last year too. And I'm not just talking about the Washington game. So I don't understand why Noshawn gets so much hate. So let's look at the stats. Because I know y'all like them numbers. Y'all analytical and all that shit. Okay. So Tyrique Stevenson, he's got 26 solo tackles. All right. 37 total tackles. He's only got 1 interception, 8 passes defense. Okay. All right. Now we look at Noshawn Wright. We've got 3 interceptions, 30 solo tackles, 42 total, 7 passes defense. So that's 1 less than Tyrique, but he's got 2 more interceptions than Tyrique, and he's got 42 total tackles, and I believe Tyrique's got somewhere around 30. So their stats are damn near I would even say Noshawn Wright stats are a little bit better than Tyrique Stevenson's, just a tad. So I for the life of me, I can't understand. Like, if we're gonna be patient with Tyrique and we're gonna talk about his potential and all that, okay, well, what about Noshawn Wright's potential, man? I like Noshawn Wright's length. I like his that length that he's got, and he's got some good break on the ball, and he does have a nose for the ball. Now, does he have trouble with coverage downfield? Absolutely. Absolutely, and he's got to tighten that the fuck up, and I have a big problem with that. Just like I have a big problem with Tyrique Stevenson doing it for the past season and a half. That's all I'm saying, guys. So if we're going to be patient with Tyrique, cool. Just give Noshawn Wright that same energy, and let's see if he picks it up a little bit. If we're not going to be patient with Noshawn, I don't see why we're patient with Tyrique. That's my only point. But let me know what y'all think. I'm going to text this up there now.
All right, so Noshawn Wright versus Tyrique Stevenson. And I think you look at the box score stats, that's great. But it's more than just the box score stats, right? Despite being targeted more, Tyrique Stevenson has allowed the same number of receptions. He also has a better he allows for better QB rating than what Noshawn Wright does. Also, he's playing CB1. Noshawn Wright is not, right? And we know that Tyrique Stevenson, even with that, is not playing this. He's not a cornerback 1. He's a 2 at best. And I think because of that, he adds better run support. He forces fumbles more. He does more of the things that needed. You trust him more in run defense than what you do Noshawn Wright as well. And that's not to say, again, that Tyrique Stevenson doesn't deserve some criticism. He does. But sometimes it seems like you zero in on players and you more so just look at what solidifies your point rather than the situation as a whole. Tyrique isn't a CB1. Now, with that said, Also, like, we know he's better in coverage than in man, and that's fine. Like, he has to do that, be in that zone. I think that's going to help him too once he's able to go back more to his position. But Tyrique doesn't get a pass either. Like, Tyrique's solid in where he is as the CB2. But even then, he didn't win that position outright. He was battling for that with Terrell Smith. And if he wants his next contract, he's definitely going to have to improve. But he's 2 years younger than Nahshon Wright. He has way more responsibility than Nahshon Wright does as well, and he's performed pretty well in that. And again, he's just better overall. So it's not about a pass. Nahshon Wright, it isn't long for this team. Tyrique Stevenson could be, and we got to see if he's going to earn that for sure. But sometimes I think you zero in, like, box score stats isn't all. Look at some analytics, and they tell you Tyrique Stevenson is clearly better than Nahshon Wright. But again, that doesn't mean he gets a pass either. He definitely has things that he needs to grow and improve on, and let's see if he can do that as well, especially if he wants that second contract with the Chicago Bears. And you got guys like Zay Frazier, you got Terrell Smith, you got those guys right there in the wing. Let's see what they can do. All right, let's get into this next one, man. This one's from Ant.
What up, fellas? Your boy Ant, the big homie. Just calling in on 2 quick observations. Both on offense. Well, not both, but one on offense, one on defense. And it's geared towards the future. If I'm the Chicago Bears, I'm retaining CJ. I know we have a dog at the nickel. I know we do. But think about it. Like, why have one dog when you can have 2? And then you're going to move. And when Jalen Johnson comes back next year, he's going to be healthy, assuming. And now you have 4 quality corners. And that's giving Dennis Allen some toys, some different wrinkles he can use in his defense. I don't know if you guys remember, I don't like bringing up the hated Packers, but when Charles Woodson went to the Packers, Charles Woodson was used everywhere. Came in on blitz, played free safety, played some corner. He was moved around on defense. You couldn't quite figure out what he was going to be. He was almost like a Wolverine type player, moving around everywhere. And I think that's what you can do with both nickels. You can move them everywhere so they can't be accounted for. And that takes away the linebackers playing. You can put them at linebackers on some plays because they're physical and they will hit you and they're fast. So I think that's a must to retain CJ. Offensively, Caleb is at the point where he's still thinking. New offense, new offensive line. He's still thinking. But once this offense gets to the point where he can just react and not think so much, when it becomes reactionary, this offense is going to be special. You can see it. You can see it. He's thinking. Because you get a glimpse of him on the comeback. He's reacting on the comeback. He's not thinking. That's just, he's reacting. He's trusting his skills. But once he gets to that point for the full offense where it becomes reactionary and all the wide receivers is on one page with him and everything's reactionary, this offense is going to be special. That's all I want to add. Chicago up, Bears down.
Having Kyler and CJ Gardner-Johnson could be a cheat code for Dennis Allen's system. Having 2 of those guys that can play the nickel, that can float around, that can do a little bit of everything and run support, pass rushing, all those type of things, that's a cheat code for a defensive coordinator like Dennis Allen for sure, right? And like I said with the last one, don't count out Zay Frazier. Do not count out Zay Frazier when he's back healthy in the long run too. But if we can get Jalen and Kyler back by the end of the season, you have Kyler, Jalen, CJ, Tyrique Stevenson still there. That gives you a nice combination at that corner for this playoff push that the Bears are trying to go on, and let's see if they can get it done. As far as Caleb Williams picking up the blitz, yeah, it's hugely important in a game like this against the Vikings. If Caleb Williams can pick up the blitz correctly and frequently enough and attack that blitz, find the spots in that blitz to attack, that's going to make this offensive game a lot easier for the Chicago Bears. Again, not easy, but easier for the Bears against the Vikings, and let's see if they can do it. All right, let's get into this next voicemail, man. This one is from DeJuan.
Hey, Bobby, C-Dub, Kevo, Steve-O, Cognac Boy, this your boy DeJuan from the low end. I was calling in because I have some questions. My first question is, I'll be looking at everything like I told y'all before that deals with football, on all platforms. I enjoy y'all because y'all unfiltered. Y'all tell it how it is and y'all keep it up front. All right. We know last year, right? Caleb got all the backlash, right? Now they go 0-2 to start the season, getting backlash. We're 6-3 now. Caleb getting his praises on being able to work in the structure of the offense and everything and do what he got to do to make sure that we be able to stay in contention for the playoffs this first year. We got a gruesome stretch going on. But my question is, how do you feel about the Bears not getting the respect that they need to get, even though our defense is giving up the yards that they giving? Because they talking about the yards that they giving up, but they not talking about the points. We gave up a lot of yards, but we didn't give up a lot of points. We gave up a lot of points to Detroit. We gave up a lot of points to Cincinnati. We won the Cincinnati game, but lost to Detroit. Outside of that, I know we're not no top 10 defense or anything, but we're a bend don't break Dennis Allen defense. So how do you feel about that narrative with the teams that we beat compared to the other teams that's sitting up on top in the NFC on the weak teams that they beat? Why do we get the backlash that we get, unlike the other teams? My second question is, how do you feel about the A.J. Brown situation? If the Philadelphia Eagles was to part ways with him, would you pursue him and team him up with this wide receiver core that we have already and make it more dominant for Caleb Williams? And basically, do you think it would be a good fit? That's just a hypothetical, a quick question that's going out there. And my third question before this time run out is, how do you feel about the Bears' playoff chances with this stretch that we got coming up? If we beat Minnesota, do you feel that we have a better chance because we got a Cleveland game that could be a setup game that could potentially have us getting in the playoffs or not making the playoffs if we was to beat Minnesota, split with Detroit, and we still got the 2 games against Green Bay in the split with them? That'll give us, 6 losses or something like that, maybe 7. I feel we go handle our business with the Eagles. I think we're going to handle our business for the rest of the season. We're going to give up yards, but I don't think we'll give up them.
Respect is earned. I think that's the biggest thing. Respect is earned. And to earn respect in sports, you have to win, and you have to win consistently. And that's where the Bears have not done yet. They haven't won consistently yet, and they haven't performed consistently. And even some of their wins, it leaves a lot of space of look at the competition that they're facing for people that want to be naysayers and say things like that. And that's why you see them. But ultimately, I say what I always say. Who gives a fuck what the national media thinks, right? By the time the national media has the respect for the Chicago Bears, who would care? We'd be winning on the football field, and the people who've been diehard Chicago Bears fans watching this team day in and day out will already know exactly who this team is. So who gives a shit about the national media? I've been so off on whether the national media covers the Bears right, correctly, or whatever for so long because it does not matter. What matters is getting wins. What matters is performing like you need to on the football field. Once you do that, everything else seems to fall in line at that point in time, and that's the most important thing. So I'm not really worried about the national media. As far as A.J. Brown, not really. No, I'm good on that. Not because he's not talented, but because we already are having problems spreading the ball and getting enough touches for the weapons that we do have, right? And I think that's something that this Bears team just needs to focus on, is getting everybody involved so you can continue to evaluate what you have on this roster so you know what you do need and where your holes are at with this team. And I think that's more important than adding another player at the buyout market. As far as chances to make the playoffs, the Bears have a pretty good chance to do that. They got to keep winning. This next 4-game stretch is going to be really telling for them. How they fare in the rest of their division matchups are going to be really telling as well. And we'll see if the Bears can get it done, man. Overall, like I said, I'm not out on the faith of this team, but they just got to continue to show it, and we'll see. Now, let's get into this last voicemail, man. This one is from Dre.
Oh, yeah, boys. This be your boy Dre calling from McKinley Park. I'm just sitting back. Today is Thursday. I'm just sitting back listening to Thursday's daily episode. And Haize, you mentioned what it would do if what it would do for the morale of a young team if the Bears make the playoffs. I'll do you one better, man. What if the Bears go 12-5, make the playoffs, and then reach the NFC Championship game? I know that's a lot, man. I know more than likely it's far-fetched, but looking at the remaining schedule, bro, nobody really scares me, man. Not even Philly, and they the defending Super Bowl champions. After seeing that game Monday night, man, they look they very beatable. They are very, very beatable. And then Green Bay, same for them. And I've been telling people for 3 years, Jordan Love is not the quarterback for them. But you know the narrative. But tell me what you think, man. I think the Bears can go 12-5 and make it to the NFC title game. Chi-Town up, bear down.
I'll say this. You're crazy if you look at the schedule and think, yeah, the Bears are making the playoffs for sure. Now, I love the faith that you have in the team. Don't get me wrong at all in that. Have faith in this team, but the Bears do have a very difficult schedule. And it seems like you're way too high on what the Bears can do against the schedule. It's not about fear, but it is about, like, every team is beatable. I want to be clear. Every single team is beatable in the NFL. But this is a very difficult schedule, and we got to see how the Bears are going to fare in the schedule, especially before we talk about the NFC Championship. Like, this Bears team is not showing enough for me to feel comfortable in saying that yet. Now, if they go out and show it, great. But, you know, we got to see. They got to prove it. They got to go out there and show it first. And let's see how they fare and come out of this difficult schedule first. And then we'll see what that means for the rest of the season for the Chicago Bears and the playoff. But that's my time for today, man. That's it for today's episode. If you guys are rocking with the content, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop your predictions on the game down below. I want to see who really believes in this team heading into Week 11. Shout out to Darius, Ant, Dewan, and Dre for the voicemails. As always, make sure you guys are following us at Shy Bear Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. And lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bears related, but that is thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.